talking to Paul Kovarsky from the CFA Institute. Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Paul, you're here on behalf of the CFA Institute. What do you see happening in the advisor world from your perspective in terms of how advisors are sort of ramping up their qualifications and adopting the CFA charter in their practice?
Firstly, thank you very much to advisoranalyst.com for having me. And CFA Institute is one of these organizations that is really an industry body. And as an industry body for the investment industry, we are seeing more and more of our members, of course, after they credential in the charter, moving into the private wealth. So the designation is actually grown out of an institutional space, and now, as you see, more and more of these people bringing their insights for the benefit of end investors, which goes to show that in the past, they probably couldn't bring their institutional grade skills to help the investors. So things like ETFs that have really allowed those products to be delivered economically to the audience have kind of brought the people and the skill set with them. So to sum up the answer to your question, I think that the end investors and the advisors are really getting the tools and the skills, and one of them is the CFA Charter and the insights it provides.
It's really, I think the CFA Charter is really seen as a sort of the ultimate designation, even more important than a master's degree or even a doctorate in some cases, because it's so specific. It's so specifically geared to finance and investment. And would you agree with that?
I'm slightly biased, but I'll defer to the authorities like Financial Times.
I think a lot of advisors are adopting the charter because they see it that way. Because if you look at the portfolio management world, the investment managers, a lot of investment managers have as their sort of bedrock of their designations. They could have gone to school for literature, engineering, rocket science, and then come out and become involved in Wall Street or Bay Street, and then decide, you know what, maybe I need to point my designations in the direction of this charter.
Yeah, absolutely, and you kindly pointed out one of the things we really hold ourselves to the standard that by undertaking CFA Charter, you would be able to come out as best prepared to really serve your client's interests. We put you through an intellectually grueling and demanding course over 3 years, basically better part of 10,000 pages of reading, but you are absolutely equipped to put it all together for the benefit of your client. It's also overlaid with the highest standards of ethics and professionalism, because there is nothing more dangerous that this person is really capable, but perhaps is lacking in terms of their ethical makeup. So what I think a lot of people are doing, which is voting with their feet, and we truly do appreciate it, is a couple of things. The CFA Charter is a signaling mechanism. It signals immediately to your clients that you've invested in your own education, you really took the time to understand the tools, and also you're doing a couple of other things. Each year you re-attest to the ethical standards, so it's automatically kind of endorsing that.
Yeah, the AIMR.
Absolutely.
AIMR, yeah.
And last but not least, you're part of the community, so you're not stale. We do encourage people to undertake their continuous professional development, and you listen through channels like advisoranalyst.com and stay on top of the industry. So we are firm in terms of learning. You are holding yourself to higher standards, and you're signaling the fact that you're there to continue staying current and up to date using the latest insights for the benefit of your clients, compared to someone else who doesn't have that seal of approval, if you like. That's, I think, what's really driving the end customers, which are charter holders.
So one of the things you're here for, among other things, one of the things you're here in Montreal for at the Inside ETFs conference to do is to poll people in the industry, pull some of the higher level folks in the industry for their point of view on how the landscape is changing.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can imagine, having been running the designation since 1963, it's changed a lot along with our industry. So I think somewhat wisely we've decided that ETFs, as we mentioned, is such a vital tool in the advisor's toolkit that it really needs to be appropriately profiled and represented in our curriculum. So we're very much looking forward to the insights from the industry. We're doing it in a super structured fashion. We're asking people today and a couple of other sessions to give us a 30,000-foot view, and then we'll drill down to the issues that are particularly interesting, and then we'll turn it into exam questions for many generations of charter holders to come. So that's truly a privilege to be part of the process.
That's terrific, Paul. We're looking forward to being part of that. Thanks so much for joining us.
Wonderful. Thanks, yeah. Appreciate it.